my point is that you've got all these manufactured terror. You've got all these manufactured synthetic boogeymen that are hiding under the table. Historically and statistically and intellectually, it's prima facie. It's on its face. There's no debating about it. It's not my opinion. And so we need to have that revelation. They lied to us and said the NSA wasn't spying on us and wasn't grabbing data and listening to phone calls and tracking emails and faxes, when on congressional record, they had investigations in 1988, 1996 that were whitewashes in Congress. When they passed the Telecommunications Act, it's all in there, how everything is built to spy on you. The main function of a telephone is to spy on you. The main function of a computer is to spy on you. The main function of a smartphone platform computer grid is to spy on you and model human behavior and track everything you do and control you and predict the future to then manipulate the future. This is all on record, by the way. None of this is my opinion. People have to understand, oh, that guy's wild. I am not wild. I sit here in stacks of news every day for 19 years. Anyone that did this would be informed.
Catherine Herridge, Fox News Channel. Thanks for taking my question. Will the Utah Data Center hold the data of American citizens?
No. Part one. Well, I can't go into all the details of the Utah Data Center.
That's Alexander.
We don't hold data on U.S. citizens.
The head of cybersecurity, that's the Pentagon branch of the Northcom domestic spy grid, that's just already operating completely illegally. They're trying to pass the cybersecurity legislation. It's operating in plain view since the early 1980s under Cyber Command at Space Command in Colorado. Space Command runs everything with NASA corporately above it as an executive branch creation. That's the shadow government. So it's Space Command nexus with the public face NASA and their interstellar programs that are classified. They're really freaking out, folks, when I talk about this stuff, by the way. Most of it I've gotten from sources. I've reverse engineered their program. And it's unbelievable. They've already gone, I'm not going to even get into it. I just cannot believe how screwed we are. The general public has no idea what's even going on. The globalists are trying to start a war with Russia. I'm not saying Russia's good. I'm not saying Putin's good. The West is starting it. And I've had some people run up to me on the street who are pro-Russia Ukrainians, go, we really appreciate what you're doing. And I have other people coming up to me who are Ukrainian or from Poland in one case and are really mad at me. And they're like, why are you pro-Russia? I am not pro-Russia. I'm pro not having World War III. But I'm already digressing. My point here is tying all this together is that it's now coming out that, of course, the National Security Agency and Defense Intelligence and Northcom and Space Command, of course, they're spying on Dianne Feinstein. Of course, they're spying on Ron Paul. They're spying on Matt Drudge. They're spying on anyone of consequence. They're spying on the local megachurch preacher. They're not just spying. They're feeding everything into giant, artificially intelligent supercomputers that are then modeling what you're going to do and then integrating it in with everyone else is going to do to literally know the future. Over the horizon, true crystal ball, Palantir control. This is the end of free will, the end of civilization as we know it. The end of humans being truly sentient and involved in the real world and informed. Because you take away privacy and you take away free will, where Amazon knows what you're going to order before you order it, they can then put in the stimuli into the equation to control the future, not just predict the future. First you predict the future, then you control the future, and they're very close to controlling the future. That's what this grid is. They knew the internet would be used for liberty. They knew it would be used in an attempt to restrain power. But the globalists know that they're in a race technologically with everyone else in the system, and so they all want to obtain the unattainium. They all want to get that godlike power to a great extent to be able to predict the future. They all want to be able to get those life extension technologies. Can you imagine the globalists, what they want? All the old rich people? What do you think they're into? Living longer. Because if you can live 20 years longer, they believe technologies will be developed where you can live 100 years longer. And if you can live 100 years longer, you can live 1,000 years longer. This is the Elysium golden fields of the demigods. Not my words, theirs. This is the program. This is the reality. We're going to skip this network break. And this is the real world. And I'm just someone who wants you to know what's going on because I believe it's a destructive path we're on because only the worst people, the most controlling people, only the most jealous, envious, covetous, selfish people are running things. And if we had angels, good angels, better angels running this, it would probably turn into a disaster and destroy free will. This will unleash abomination, desolation. The psych warfare technologies, the dehumanization, smart grid, smartphone, TV systems are already mesmerizing people and sucking them into their television sets, sucking them into their iPhones, sucking them in. Imagine it. And I want somebody to create an animation of this out there. I know there's great animators listening. I need people to create this. Don't count on somebody else. Do it. Where it shows someone in an evolution from, say, 1947 with the widespread rollout of televisions and the entire culture changing, where you have people rolling the television into the house and the family goes from the dinner table and the kids go from playing outside to now living around the television and changing how you even eat food, packaged space food, TV dinners in front of the television, being inserted into a false reality, being bombarded 5, 6, 7 hours a day with messages of the establishment that at first were quite wholesome, but only to hook people. This was all done scientifically. Edward Bernays and others are on record, not my opinion. And so imagine the animation. They're all sitting around the table. They're outside playing. Kids are on their bikes. They're building forts. They're looking at the stars. They're fishing in the creek. They're, kissing a girl for the first time when they're 12. They're getting in a fist fight. They're living. They're humans. And now, within years, within just a few years, suddenly everyone has a television set. It's a sign of status if you have 2 television sets by 1955. You're suddenly living around the television. You're suddenly getting home. You're now not in the real world. You're entering the proto-matrix. This is the proto-matrix. Suddenly, they all gravitate around the television. The flicker rate designed and picked in animal and human studies to put you into a suggestible, hypnotized, suspended disbelief, false reality. This is literally the key. People are in a trance. I can't state that enough. That's it. That's why they're so dumb. That's why you can't get through to them. That's why they're so suggestible. I don't even try to be manipulative now, and I can just walk directly up to police and basically start programming them. I can walk up to women and start programming them, start talking to them, literally using basic systems that they use in television, and the people literally go back into trances, and I'm not even a hypnotist, and have never even studied it.
Your identification.
You don't need to see his identification.
We don't need to see his identification.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
Now, again, I mentioned police because they're about the hardest on average because they actually live in the real world, and I'm not glorifying police here. They actually live in the real world, see what's going on. They're not watching a lot of television. They're having to interact with people. They're having to deal with all sorts of crises constantly. And so that's why I say police are more awake than anybody in the country on average, except for the military. And the military is awake because they've seen the corruption. They've seen arms and legs blown off. They've seen dead kids. They've seen the bid rigging. They've seen what goes on at the military bases. They've seen people getting killed at the bases that talk about the drug dealing. They've been hired by the CIA to carry out hits. They live in the real world. That's how naive the public is. They're like children. But even the police now are suggestible. And I can just organically, watching the tricks on television now, go out and talk to the public, and you can see who's conscious, who's unconscious. And the globalists study this. They invented this. It's incredible. So my response to it is to have zero manipulation. Just be 100% upfront with folks on how this is working and what's going on. Because even if someone's in a subconscious state, they subconsciously are hearing this now and will work through the data and start seeing how they're being manipulated, how they're in a trance. The only way to wake people up now, I realize, is not to even show them data and facts and proof, because they'll just call you a conspiracy theorist, because that's the hypnotic trance word that means disregard, don't look at this. Oh, that person says don't trust a system that's known for lying. This person says think outside the box, think for yourself. That's a heretic. And I realize that everything is about getting people to take the red pill and just for themselves see what's around them. You're never going to tell them about it. They've got to see it. What did Morpheus say to Neo? One cannot be told about the Matrix. And by the way, all I'm offering is the truth before you take that red pill. You say you're taking it. All I'm offering is the truth. But I got to tell you, folks, it's like weightlifting. I'm getting back into weightlifting, getting back into shape. It just feels so good. And when I get like dumbbells, 20-pound dumbbells on a bench press are heavier than 60, 70, 100-pound dumbbells. Because I'm not used to lifting a light weight from muscle memory 20 years ago. I'm used to lifting a heavy weight. And it's the same thing. It's like an atmosphere. It's like a plant that isn't in the wind, that isn't in the rain, will not thrive. A plant that's in the wind and rain will grow and thrive from the pressure. What do they say? Pain is weakness leaving the body. Well, it's the same thing mentally. You're meant to be in the real world. Your ancestors, folks, drove mastodons off cliffs so they could eat them. Our ancestors fought tigers and lions and big cats and cave bears, twice the size of a grizzly bear. Humans with spears and rocks would go and kill big bears. Bears ran from humans. Polar bears ran from humans. Everything roared. And humans could look up and see the stars and invent systems to track them and literature and art and everything. And look what we've been turned into, because we're all being killed by the softness, killed by the domestication. We are being sucked in to the dehumanizing evil and the animation. The animation that I want people to come up with. You shouldn't have to have a contest. People pay people $10,000, even though it's great. You should do it for humanity. Do it for art. That's how we'll defeat the tyrants, is giving the human art, the human spirit expression to jam the culture wave of the mind control that would have to take our free will, dumb us down, and put us in a trance to control us. That is the ultimate sin against free will. God gives us free will. The enemy, the devil, the deceiver, the accuser, get behind me, Satan. What does Satan do? Gets in front of you on our road to the stars. Satan gets in front of human development. Satan only gives us mutated technologies and mutated systems that control us and dumb us down in an attempt to play God and build an artificial system to predict the future. The devil doesn't have omnipresence. The devil is trying to use humans made in the image of God to build a God machine to be able to understand the future and decipher everything. The devil only knows how to con people and manipulate people because he is a magician. He is a deceiver. He is a fraud. He is a lie. He is not 1/1 trillionth what the Creator is. To hell with the devil. Straight to the pit with Satan. Down with Satan in the name of Jesus Christ. Get behind me, Satan. Down with the devil. Down with the fraud. Get out of the road. Get behind me. You understand that? Get out of the road, New World Order. Get out of my mind. Get out of my free will. Get out of my way. Humanity is going interstellar. And this great challenge of the devil and the smartphones and the NSA and the culture destroying and the chemicals in the water and the war on the family, it's all coming down. It's all going down. It's the test. We're going through the fire, in, through, and beyond, in the animating contest of liberty. The devil doesn't give you the animating contest. The devil lies and tells you that he gave you what God gave you. God gave you your gifts. God gave you your power. The devil lies and says, sell your soul to me, and I will give you gifts. The devil will do nothing but pervert the gifts of the Creator. We are made, think about that, in the image of the master builder, the supreme architect of the universe. And idiots will go, that's a Masonic. No, the Bible says the heavens are the handiwork, the signature. Of course they are. All of it, this whole creation. And we are made in the image and the likeness in our mind, in our body, in our form of the supreme entity that has built the entire interdimensional system that our minds cannot even begin to imagine. And the devil has a good idea of that, and the devil wants that, because the devil is never a maker. The devil is a taker and a twister and a counterfeiter from the beginning, and a fraud with a false light of black sunshine. And I've got a lot of news to cover, but when it comes down to the final equation, the NSA, of course it's spying on us, and they got caught lying. Of course it's spying politically to control people. Of course they're spying on the Associated Press. Of course it's illegal. Of course it's all a fraud. And it's all meant to shutter your consciousness. It's all meant to keep you from being empowered. It's all meant to rob you of the absolutely holy vision that we experience on a tiny scale of the Creator, to commune with the Creator of the universe, whose creation is a giant 100-dimensional gate into other worlds that the eye hath not seen, the ear has not heard what is in store. It's Spaceship Earth, your body.